All right, hello, I'm Matthew Brand, author of Magna Creed, and today I'm joined by Rose, who is not as cranky and aggressive as she was 5 minutes ago because we had to start re-recording over again. So, if this is not a PG-13 show, so if you are not over the age of 18 or whatever, go ask your fucking dad if you can watch this. Anyway, um, so what are you laughing at? Are you laughing at me or are you laughing at the puppies?
I'm laughing at you.
Would you,
Go ask your fucking
yeah,
dad.
yeah, you're just not old enough. You're gonna learn
Oh.
some stuff about our topic today, which is Gretchen Whitmer. And if you can look at her face, and you don't like, if you haven't been experienced tranny porn, you might not be ready for the trend. Anyway, I'm not going in there, but she looks. Who is it that keeps saying she looks?
Caitlyn Jenner.
Who the fuck is Caitlyn Jenner?
Previously, Bruce Jenner.
Bruce Jenner,
Yeah, that Olympic
the
tranny.
guy who he killed somebody in the car and then came out as a
I mean, that's pretty fucked up. I didn't even know he killed someone. I just knew that he decided to get rid of his dick.
He didn't get he did that way later.
No, he got
did that way later.
Oh, you're saying that it wasn't recent that he killed someone.
No, what happened was he I don't know how we jumped on this from Gretchen Whitmer, but he basically today we're talking about Gretchen Whitmer, the COVID-19 and the regulations going on because it's a big point of contention in Michigan because people are some people are like, hey, there's protests, this is unconstitutional, it's overreach, what she's doing is ridiculous, doesn't make sense, and the other side is like, you know what, it's for safety, we're saving lives, it's important that we follow these rules, and it's only temporary, it's just something that's never happened before.
Stop questioning.
Yeah, and it's fine, but here's the deal, it's been very polarizing, but there are three types of arguments. There's a type of argument where you either have flawed logic on one side, it's obviously they're wrong or they don't know what they're talking about. Even if they're right, a lot of times they don't know what they're talking about and they either freak out or shut down. That's one. Two, you have the, puppy or kitten, like which one, pick your poison. Neither one's wrong, but it's just kind of depends on your taste. Even though somebody might obviously think you're wrong, if you like puppies or kittens, usually it's, if you like kittens over puppies, you're an absolute horrendous person, but that's still a matter of personal taste. And then you have three, when people actually agree, but they dislike the person, so they're being argumentative.
Right.
Or they're argumentative in general. And I honestly think this is number three because most people in Michigan seem to agree on a lot of stuff when it comes to these regulations that are being passed. On the multiple points, which I'll touch in a moment. But back to the Caitlyn Jenner. I don't fucking know. I don't keep up with the Kardashians. That's not even a punt. That's not a punt on the show. He's the dad of the Jenners. He's their stepdad.
Are they related? Like the Caitlyn
Caitlyn Jenner?
Oh wait, isn't the
He's Caitlyn Jenner, I thought. I'm so fucking confused. Is he not Caitlyn Jenner?
I don't know, honey. I don't watch them.
I think he's Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, he is Caitlyn Jenner, and wasn't he originally married to the mother of
He's
the
not. I thought he still was.
No, they got a divorce because now he's a woman.
Well, that doesn't mean they had to get a divorce.
They got a divorce.
They did?
They 100% got a divorce.
They did? I didn't know that.
Okay, maybe 99% because I'm not 100%. I don't want Caitlyn Jenner coming to my house.
Why?
Beating my ass.
I don't know. That's weird. Anyway, the thing is, she has bigger... Whatever. They have bigger problems than...
Yeah, probably.
Zed has bigger problems than you. And I think... Bruce Jenner killed somebody on accident, I think. And in Hollywood, that's a big no-no. And typically, so what they'll do is they'll create a publicity to distract from that. So even though I'm not saying he wasn't gay or thinking about becoming a woman before that, but he now she that was when she came out the closet.
Oh,
and
okay.
It was the same thing with a lot of people did like that one dude, the guy who plays Frank, Kevin Spacey. He was like he came out the closet, like he got talked to about messing with little boys or something like that, or underage kids.
Are you talking about the Gallaghers, like on Shameless?
No. The actor's name is Kevin Spacey. He plays on House of Cards, and
a different.
he plays
Frank.
a lot of.
Okay, gotcha.
No, he plays a guy named Frank on House of Cards, I think. And it's really weird because they think he's in with the Epstein thing and all this other stuff, but I think half the people who were accusing him died like just out of nowhere.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's been a long stuff and it's weird, but Kevin Spacey is like, he was on that list of questionable people, and he's still not. He's like the R. Kelly thing, like they're just kind of like, we know he's been doing some stuff, but it just never seems to go anywhere. And but he came out as gay, like that was supposed to like. Yeah, I don't know.
Distract.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah, the fact that he's peddling little kids.
Yeah, if he was even, I mean,
right, accused.
A lot of this is publicity. I have no idea what goes on, but as far as the Gretchen Whitman thing, there are a lot of points where people are supposedly arguing over, but in my opinion, most of them agree. So you have one, which is the painting lawn care. Right. A lot of people think it's weird that she banned people from doing paint and lawn care. So even if people agree, most people do agree that it's weird that you can buy weed, cigarettes, booze, and lotto tickets.
Right.
Right. And
I can't buy paint to paint my house or a rake to do my yard.
Yeah. You can't buy a rake, but you can buy booze. Even though some people think, okay, weed is medicinal, right?
Right. Like,
but cigarettes, booze, and lotto tickets.
A lotto ticket in any circumstances is not essential.
Yeah, right. It's what you know. What I think the thing is gamble, or these are addictive things.
Yeah.
And if you, cut people off from their addiction, they're way more likely to be like. It creates
even more issues.
Well, people are likely to speak up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we had a damn whiskey rebellion in this country. I mean, people said even the most totalitarian government could not stop their people from buying booze.
Yeah.
I think it was a Stalin. I think I'm not a history expert. I think it was Stalin who said no more booze, and they did not have it. they didn't have it.
That's funny.
Look at the what was it? We had prohibition.
Right, didn't work out too good.
Yeah, we got gangsters right at like that. That's what we remember. We've always had gangs, but we really remember them during that prohibition period. It's like they kind of stood out during that time. It's just like oh, I've got a Tommy gun. Like they didn't invent Tommy guns for gangsters, but all of a sudden, as soon as they said no more booze, everybody started whipping shit out all the time. It was crazy. And number two, the businesses, right? They a lot of people don't like that is, like basically you're saying tough titties to the businesses.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are, even the people who agree with the rules, once it starts affecting them, they're like, I think that's a little excessive. That shouldn't be. When they get that pink slip, that says, okay, we know you're on unemployment. That's going to end in a few weeks. By the way, you can't go back to work afterwards. You're like, what are you talking about? Like, your job's gone.
Yeah.
What do you mean my job's gone? Your job's gone. You're not... Okay, but I'm still getting that $1,000 a week, though, right? No. It's going to end in a few weeks. Well, what the fuck am I supposed to eat? It's not they don't think about that. They're not thinking about that.
At some point, this has to transition back to
and if your business didn't survive this, if your employment didn't survive this, you are now unemployed, and this. They're
by
not
no fault of your own,
right?
Just unemployed.
But they're not thinking. But they're all pro, shut down the economy until they get that pink slip, and they're like, I mean, is it that serious though?
Right.
And then
we gotta figure something.
Yeah. And then they change their mind. So. Once again, this isn't things that people are arguing over. They're just not experiencing on the same levels, or they're not really informed or thinking about it. Three, a lot of it feels like a power flex because with Gretchen Whitmer, right? Because a lot of this stuff, like I said, she's trying to become vice president for a dude who's not that sharp. If you think Joe Biden is sharp, and I've said this before, if you think Joe Biden's sharp, you're not. I don't care if you rather have a guy who ain't that quick in, rather than Trump, but if you think he's sharp, if you think he's too, because some people are in denial, like somebody, but he's not sharp. So he's senile. He's very old. He's not the healthiest. Him and I don't know why the oldest, least healthiest candidates made it through, but people don't really think that that's the important, or that they just thought that was their best shot, because nobody wanted anybody else in there. But as far as making it through, he made it through. He's looking for vice presidential candidates, likely a woman, right, to get that woman vote. Yeah. So it's kind of between Gretchen Whitmer and Elizabeth Warren. Those are like the high contenders. So it seems like a power flex. She's been on Comedy Central. She's been appearing on all these Good Morning America and all this stuff. And the reason a lot of people feels like it's a power flex, like just saying like, oh, I'm the girl, I can do this, and this. Right. She's trying to announce to the world like, this is all me, and when this is all over and we've survived this, it'll be because of me. But her laws are how do you put it? Or these rules, not laws, these regulations she's passed. They're there's no way you can enforce them. They're unenforceable. Yeah. There's like they put a law. You can't go to your other home up north. If you have two houses, you can't travel between them. What you gonna do? How are you going to know if someone's going from one house to the other? You can't go to your friend's house. How do you know? Right? It's an order. She keeps saying, I'm reminding you, this is not a suggestion. This is an order. What are you going to do?
Right. Like, where's the punishment?
Right. The only way they're really getting people is they're either tricking you into doing some stuff you probably didn't know that about, like maybe buying paint or something. You walk out after buying paint, like, and get $1,000 ticket. Like, what's this for? Or you didn't know you're not allowed to buy a rake. Like, I didn't know. Like, it's not everybody's watching TV. They're telling you the dates get extended when you drive the freeway and all that stuff. They're announcing date is extended. I still have not heard that from her mouth or any things like any news station that I can't buy garden supplies.
Well, it's because you can buy garden supplies, but you can't buy it at Walmart. You can buy it like at Ace Hardware.
No, you can't. You're not supposed to.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, they shut it down at like say Walmart because it's over 55,000 or whatever square feet. So people are congregating in that huge store already where it's already over.
But people got in trouble for buying paint at Home Depot.
That's because it's a big store. It's the big retailers that can't sell it. Mr. like mom and pop shop, they can still sell it, and I think that might be part of the thing is that she's trying to like get you to go, but those places already shut down because they can't. So like it's just like a bad thing in general.
Right, but
like you can buy your seeds from there, but
like
there's
I said,
none left.
It's unenforceable. You can't
absolutely,
really.
100%.
How are you gonna know? He bought. He's painting his house. And they're saying you can paint your house, you can landscape, but at a certain level, you're not going to know who, like, unless the guy's going door to door knocking and someone snitches, you don't know what someone's doing. So a lot of these is a power flex, and it feels that way. And a lot of people,
on paper, it looks like she had the iron fist. Like,
but later you're going to be like, because she says it's just like, oh, because of the things we're doing. And this is another thing, and because it bothers me kind of a bit. When things are going well, she raises her hand with the credit, like, oh, it's because of what we did, it's because we're doing these things and these regulations I put in place.
But when it goes bad, the CDC or
when it goes bad or something, it's unpredictable.
The WHO, World Health Organization, they should have done this sooner when we first started this.
It's just everybody else's fault. So you take all the good credit and shift all the bad credit.
Now the numbers are declining just because of that's how it works.
They don't own up for she doesn't own up for anything, and I think that's
politics.
My biggest issue. Yeah, but at least some people can admit when they're wrong. Right. They can just say like, "Hey, I didn't know this was happening. This was, I was tricked.
Everybody was misinformed.
Somebody lied to me. Well, they can at least say like, "Hey, I made a mistake" or whatever. Hey, I thought, I was kept hearing this and then I made the wrong call. She doesn't do that.
No,
not
at all.
You don't hear, I ain't heard it out of her mouth once. Not saying she's never ever, but I've never heard it out of her mouth. And she doesn't own up enough for me to want her as I don't even want her as the governor. This is my personal opinion. If you want her as a governor, that's fine. I'm not taking shots at her. I'm just saying that I don't care for the way she runs things. She doesn't. I don't. She doesn't line up. Not even with my political views, but just my beliefs in general. I don't care much for number. And then just going down the list, nobody is really. This is another real point. Nobody's really following these regulations to the T.
No.
I don't care how the people who are firmest in belief of this are not following these regulations to a T in Michigan. Like you go to Walmart. I ain't been to that store once and seen everybody with a mask on.
No.
I ain't been. The day I went in there in the Walmart somewhere in Oakland County, and I didn't see anybody with a mask on. I didn't see. I probably saw 2 people with a mask on. 2. They were older, and there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying you have to wear a mask, but if you're looking at that's what people are saying, right? Like if you're gauging the mask wearing by the percentage of how hard they're listening to her, obviously her percentage is down. When I go somewhere in Detroit, or when we go somewhere in Wayne County, which is hit the hardest, right? I'm not seeing 100% or even 75% mask. I'm seeing like maybe 50-50, right? Like, so I see some people with families there or whatever. So obviously, even if you're a firm believer in it, you cannot tell me that everybody is following that to the T, right?
I mean, just in like say the 30 patients a day I'm seeing at my clinic, there's patients who won't even let me take their temperature because they're so scared of the Rona, and then there's patients who are on a soapbox telling me how fucked our government is, and then they're also like, but can you get me a mask though, because I don't want to buy it myself.
Exactly,
but like, hey, as I'm leaving, I don't want to catch the Rona, but I'm not gonna fuck. I'm about to go to Walmart and fuck around for a while.
Yeah.
But can you make sure I don't get sick? So it's like there's very definitely 2 different sides, and it's just like where is the happy medium?
But I think that's the medium right there. Most people are like, I'm probably not going to die from this, but just in case, let me take some precaution, and that's where they are. That's where the whole of Michigan is are. But this woman is on the, you stay your ass in the house or you're killing old people. You don't care.
You're going to kill your grandma.
How many, I've heard a commercial on the radio, I kid you not, this dude's like, how many people are going to have to die before you listen? I'm like, I didn't even listen to this damn commercial. I was like, who's it going to take? Who's it going to take? Your grandma? I'm like, my grandma, they dropped her on her head and she died from getting dropped on her head too many times. Literally, they did it was in a nursing home. I think it was the same, maybe not owned by the same people, but the same building, where where they had to they tried to cover up the 15 people who it was that they dropped her on her head quite a few times, and it ended up being the end of her. So it's not gonna be her ass. I don't go around my other damn grandma, so. I mean, what? Oh, I know I'm in contact with elderly, but it's on an almost needed basis. Most people aren't like, oh, I don't feel good today. Let me go hang out with a bunch of old people and at-risk people. Most people are just, they get something, they go back home, they mind their business.
Right. Well, and by us just being ourselves and, going about our daily lives, it's not like we're saying we hate immunocompromised people. It's just that I'm not going out of my way to deliberately typhoid marry someone. Yeah, that's not what we're doing here.
Yeah, but, I think the issue is like when you put these regulations in place, instead of, and this is a big point, you could have incentivized it, right? You could have said like, hey, we're going to give you something if you follow these regulations, or in exchange for these regulations, they're basically giving people something regardless as if they follow it or not, right?
Right.
Because it's like if you get caught, right? If you get caught, right, you follow these regulations, but if you get caught, then you get penalized with like a citation or something like that, maybe even jail time, right? Okay. But most likely $1,000 fine, somewhere from $500 to $1,000 fine. And if you get jailed, then you're getting around more people, and they can't keep you there.
It's like up to 90 days in jail, and then you're just throwing the person that you just said, is giving people the Rona into a highly concentrated,
Right. And
Doesn't make much sense.
And then, like I said, you can't really regulate it because, especially if you live in an area like, okay, Detroit. Let's face it, a lot of people make their money off of doing things that aren't really on the up and up in the first place.
Yeah.
Like you can't shut down a business that's like a off the books hustle.
Right.
So if you have Reggie, let's say Reggie, Risky and Old Shady are selling like stuff out of their trunk, in at Trunk Depot. What are you gonna find their business license? Like they don't have one.
Yeah.
So when you get to a certain point, you be like, you don't care about the Rona. But you can't say that much about Risky and Old Shady because they don't care about the regulars that's going on. I mean, it's just like their business is booming. Like, what? You can't get that here? I got your rake right here, sir. I got your paint. What do you want me to mix it up?
Oh, you need some TP? I got you some
I got
TP.
telepaper. I got, and I'm not talking about the other stuff that Risky and Old Shady are
now
selling.
Now they got the essentials. For real, the essentials.
Yeah, Risky's Trunk Depot. Well, we got what you crave. This is a reason that what you crave, that White Castle, they target certain areas. They know you crave it. So I mean, they're selling stuff to people. They don't. I mean, let's face it. That's why Wayne County is so high, because you have a whole city of hustle. For people who aren't familiar with the Detroit area, man, this went long. For people who aren't familiar with the Detroit area, Detroit does not have a lot of businesses inside that like the general populace kind of works at. Like a lot of them are small businesses, and they're in certain areas. So there's a lot of areas where there aren't a lot of businesses in general, where people have to travel. They have to get on a bus and take public transportation a long way to get to where they're working. This is very not similar, but you have other places like New York, California, where they have little routes like this, where people. But Detroit is very unique in where people work a very far away, spot from where they live, because this, with the car industry, they encourage the people working very far. So that means a lot of contact with people if you're carpooling. If you see all those cars that are, you go to a certain business, you're like, nothing's open, but there's a lot of cars in that parking lot. It's because all those people are carpooling.
Yeah.
But when you have all those people carpooling, you got to realize they're sharing their space with each other.
Yeah.
They're not social distancing.
A very small space.
Yeah, they're not social distancing. So then when you get one person, it's just a lot of small people in a tiny area where you normally wouldn't have that in such a small. People are like, oh, well, there's a smaller population, but Michigan might be the 10th most populated state. But as far as metro areas, we are one of the richest metro areas. Period. I think we're very high up on a wealthy metro area. It's almost as if the wealth and the COVID-19 kind of go tight and tight, because people, the more wealth, the more interaction. Because there's a lot of money being exchanged. We're a huge spot for small businesses, where New York, and California, you're talking much more big businesses. Right. I mean, some of the contracts in California are downright slavery. So, you got to keep that in mind. And when you do these things, you hurt a lot of people, so they tend to do stuff on the low in the first place.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things, but I think really people are in agreement. I think they're just, some people don't like the means to the end. Like, they're okay with social distancing. Right. You're going to do this. Someone's not like, fuck you, I ain't standing 6 feet away from you. Fucking make me. I ain't heard that yet.
No.
I ain't heard that. I don't care how I seen some people cough. People did a little, Mortal Kombat slide back, just like, get the hell away from me. A little overreaction, but I ain't heard no people like, oh, nah, man, I ain't doing that social distancing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you, like, some people do parties. They've been doing parties and hanging out, but it's with family and, interactions and stuff like that. Yeah, there's been some get-togethers and stuff like that, but a lot of people are like, I ain't throwing away my birthday party for this COVID-19,
right, yeah.
But it's not something, I don't think they're even doing it on a regular, like, they've been busting up a lot of stuff, but it's seldom.
Yeah, when you think about the big picture, it's very few things
right,
have actually been.
Yeah, they've given out, like, I don't know, even if they're giving out thousands, you talking about millions of people, and okay, a few ignorant ass people hanging
and
out.
That was enough to scare everybody
groups.
else.
No, I don't even think it was enough to scare everybody off, but I think it's like that was the flex tactic to discourage.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey, we will give you a ticket,
Yeah,
but
don't think we won't.
Exactly.
Because,
yeah.
We will.
Yeah, we will give you the ticket, and then now she just laid off a bunch of state police.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, she laid off a bunch of state
oh my goodness.
police, and of course, right before they do that, they always say, I'm Francis, the state police. We've worked together for a really long time. When I was a legislator, I'm always close to the state of, but it's one of the hardest decisions I've had to make. But I'm laying you off. I'm laying you off for 10. It's gonna be 10 days, most likely.
Most likely.
I mean, don't hold your breath, but we'll just it's just a small amount of time so we can save some money. But in the meantime, you can file for unemployment and make more than what you. I mean, how does that save money? I don't know. I don't know how this all works.
Yeah,
the math
you
is
can
weird.
You can file for unemployment that you can't even get a hold of.
They showed us a graph today, like during the press conference. They were like, okay, so here's the deal. So we can have a huge spike, or it could go really, really low. We don't really know. We don't know where it's going, but the science is real. Like, they always follow up with them. The science is real, but I'm telling you this.
Oh man,
they're on crack. They get the best cocaine in Congress. I'm telling you, like Congress and the governor's mansions, man. They get that. I mean, the premium cocaine. They get it. We don't get that stuff. We get like regular, like they get Jedi mind trick cocaine. Like I can sniff this and I just wave my hand and then everybody believes just like the science is real, and then they wave the hand. So then everybody's science is real. She said science is real.
He said so.
Yeah, now
science is real.
this rhymes with it, obviously. I'm like, I don't get, you take cocaine, you get Jedi mind trick. Their cocaine, they get the script just like, and everybody believes. Yeah, I don't know. Let's get, this is shots of, this is government in general, right? You see this, it doesn't matter who the politicians are. There's people who will die hard. Like, they never knew this motherfucker before in their life. But because they're on one side or the other, they'll be like, this is what they said.
Yep.
This is true.
100%.
I don't understand why you're against. No one's against the regulations necessarily. It's the means to which they were taken. Mm-hmm. They don't like, okay, you can't buy flour. Why?
Yeah, what I mean? Give me the science behind that.
Yeah. You can't go golfing. Why? It's my club and it's a ball. I'm not doing anything.
Well, and it's upon how many acres between like one person.
Right,
to
and
the
she's
next,
saying like, people have to cut the grass on the golf course. They're doing it anyway, most likely.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing: I don't really care. I don't play golf.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit if you play golf or not.
But
I don't care. And a lot of people, somebody was like, somebody got a ticket for bowling. It doesn't make any sense. Like somebody today did not care about these. They were so for these regulations, right? They were up in arms and positive this regulation. They found out the other day they couldn't go bowling. They were like, what the hell are you talking about? Fuck you mean I can't go bowling? It's like, you can't go bowling. Why? Cause it's your social distance. Like, I'm on a boat by myself. The fuck you talking? Like, they don't. It's when they interacted with themselves. Yeah. That's when they're like, this is stupid.
Yeah. And when it finally like it hits you.
Yeah.
Like,
how dumb it is. Like, right, we're picking up a care package from somebody, and then you're like, someone's like, you're not allowed to do that. Like, why?
Right.
It's dumb. At a certain level, you have to accept that that's stupid, and people are going to do it anyway. But that's why it shouldn't be illegal in the first place. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are like, well, no one's going to tell on you. Like, okay, I got that. Most likely, 97% of the time, you won't get told on for doing something basic like going on a boat, going to pick up a care package, going in the park and playing, throwing the tossing the football around with your kid. But even whether it happens that 3% of the time or none at all, it shouldn't be illegal. Not touching the equipment and stuff like that, like you don't want to crash germs. But I mean, at a certain point, it's dumb, and you gotta accept that some of the rules don't make sense, whether or not you agree with whether the disease is here or not, let's pretend it is. Let's pretend it's fucking you're turning into a vampire and die in 7 days regardless. Like it's a curse if you do. Fine. It still doesn't make sense if the curse happens under a full moon. You're telling people like, well, just in case it's a, that's a crescent. But the crescent, what happens if you were wrong and that really wasn't a crescent? It was just an eclipse. It's just some silly shit. It doesn't that doesn't make sense, and it doesn't really affect me much. But I get where people are coming from on both sides.
Yeah.
And
I think that's where the empathy comes from. Is like we all have that empathy towards like I get somebody not want my 70-year-old grandma not wanting to go out, like it entirely makes sense for her to follow every regulation to a T.
Right.
But I'm healthy. Why should I not be able to go on a kayak? Like it doesn't make any sense.
Right, exactly. And a lot of people are just sitting here thinking like her regulations don't make sense. But follow them, just put up with them, right? Some people are just put up with them.
Just deal with it. It's
right,
only going to be a little bit
the
longer.
The arguments that are happening on it is just like, what are you fucking arguing over? You're both doing the same shit.
It almost feels like to me there's a reason they are so high. Is that because, like you said, with the polarizing, and now we have this like gridlock, and now like it's creating publicity for Michigan in general.
Yeah.
And for, like even bad publicity is publicity.
Yeah, and as and then they bring out the racist stuff. I'm like, I didn't see any damn racist people at that rally. Then they showed this one picture with a dude who, and I'm not saying there aren't racist people. There's racist people everywhere.
A couple of people, and it was like "Make America Great Again," which is like they changed it again to it's more so like now she's against government, everything in general.
Yeah. And once again, this is one of those people who don't like AR-15. So let's be and once again, they all every time before they say something fucking dumb, they're like, well, I love this. I love the Second Amendment. I'm a huge supporter of the Second Amendment. People in the Second Amendment community know me. They agree with me. Most people I talk to agree. But we don't need these assault weapons in our streets.
God.
Like, and what the fuck does that even mean? What does it mean when because I don't even say that we're like up in these streets. And I'm from Joy Road. So what does it mean when some prissy, spoiled white ass woman in the fucking governor's mansion, you know what I'm saying, says some like we don't need this in the streets? Where in the street?
What street?
What's is
what
it? Are they laying across the street? Or are you talking about people coming around shooting up? Well, how many fucking times? Even if it happens tonight, right? Hope to God not. But even if it happened tonight, it's not like people in Detroit are getting fucking lit up with AR-15s all the damn time. You make your fucking this happens after this, that will be the biggest coincidence in the world because people don't go out and just do that all the fucking time. Yeah. That's like one of those like the police are coming, fuck this, I'm going down in a blaze, and they start. That's the only time. I think an officer got shot recently, and he died. One of the officers who got died, he got shot with a rifle, but any rifle would have did it. And they always love to flash the a rifle, and they say, that's why we shouldn't have these kind of rifles. Doesn't fucking matter. You get hit with that rifle, and he got shot in the neck. So I mean, really, you got any rifle, a bolt, anything that wasn't a bolt action or something like a single shot at a time rifle would have done that. He could have had 5 rounds. The point is, they know at a certain point in time when push comes to shove and they go starting stuff with people, they can only deal with so many people with a full round, a full load of bullets. Other than that, most people don't do the AR-15 because it's a suicide.
Yeah.
It's a suicide. Well, you're not getting very far after you do that. How many people are walking around with an AR-15? Like, you know what I mean? You don't hear about someone, they shot up someone with an AR-15 and they're still on the run. If anybody knows about this guy, you don't hear that. Yeah. That fucker's done at the end of the day. Either he shoots himself, the cops get him, or he gets shot. He gets Swiss cheesed. That's those the end results when you do something like that with AR-15. Because most handguns are for something petty like, give me some money, or I'm retarded, like those twins at the Coney Island. Like it's like they you might have did something stupid with a handgun, but there's almost no point in doing something with AR-15 because when you do, like, what result are you going to get that you wouldn't get with some
Yeah.
other. There's not really a point. Now, like I said, unless you're going to get as many people as possible.
Yeah, unless you're deliberately going for that,
Yeah,
which doesn't.
It doesn't. You could have did that with anything,
Yeah.
So, the whole point when you have a governor who the problem with her people like her is when you hear stuff like that who are making up logic to back up an argument that doesn't make any sense. They're mouthpieces. They're going to say whatever it is gets them somewhere. So, that's it. This is a long one, but hey, sometimes it's going to be that way. It's a touchy subject, so you got to go. I mean, I'm not sounding like it's a touchy subject, but like again, if you don't understand it, if it's too much for you, go ask your fucking dad. I'm not your dad. I'm somebody's dad. I'm not your dad. And if I am your dad, I don't know why the fuck you listening to this in the first place. Get off my thing. And how many years he's got? He's got like 13 years, right?
13.
You got 13 years, boy. Before you listen to this, get off my damn phone. All right. And if it is you, hey, I still love you. You're not getting any sweet snacks for a while, but I highly doubt you'll be listening to this. No, I don't. I doubt that you'll be listening to it long before I caught you. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Bye, guys.